This is All Hitches, the NoVA football podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the NoVA tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
All right, welcome back to All Hitches, NoVA's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, how you doing, buddy? Happy weekend.
Yeah. Summer's in the air, man. Summer is in the air, isn't it? The pools all have their tarps off. Because most public pools now are fortunate to have a pool in our backyard, like you are.
It's a lot of work that comes with
that.
that.
But the pools open up Memorial Day, right? Usually Memorial Day is when
Memorial Day weekend or a week away.
Pools open up.
I was thinking today, actually, because I was doing a lot of work in my back with the pool and the area. And, man, it's like, obviously, it's like your own little mini resort, right?
Yeah.
When you have a pool and a backyard with all that stuff.
Yeah.
But guess what? Resorts have staffs. Right? Even if it's like a small bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And I got enough kids living here, right? That I could argue I have the same bandwidth as a bed and breakfast at times, maybe in the low season.
Yeah.
But I don't have a staff.
It's
just me out there with I have one of those the broom and the dustpan, and I'm holding the dustpan thing, and I'm walking around. All I need is like khaki pants and like a golf shirt as I walk around my backyard.
Yeah.
It's hard work, but it's rewarding once it all gets done. Like anybody else, like any yard, someone who's got a great yard. I know you have a great lawn. It's rewarding when it's all done and looks good.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I mow my lawn, the next thing I do is I get upstairs, I look at my lawn.
Yes, it's rewarding, man. It's great. It's good stuff. Yeah. Speaking of rewarding, what a great week. Of events.
Yeah. We didn't get a chance to attend the Loud one. A little bit far away for you and I to try to get to by that time. But start off. I went to PW because, as everybody knows, you hate PW.
That is not true. There's always it's weird, and you and I were talking about this earlier today. It is weird that every time it's a PW event, and it's almost comical, but
hold on. I will give you a pass because by the time you got home, I told you, look, man, if you try to get down here at 6 o'clock, like traffic is a nightmare. I mean, I did tell you, I did tell you to stay home. I said I'll do it. I'll bite the bullet. I'll bite the bullet on this one. And I told you to stay home just because I was like, it's trying to get after you have duties you have to do beforehand, and trying to get out here, trying to get out to Garfield. You may have not have made it. You may have been sitting there stuck on getting across the Aqua River, blowing your horn at people, trying to get people to go right.
I appreciate you giving me the pass on that one, and yes, it would have been tough. Now let's start with Loudon.
Yeah.
And people would make that argument, by the way, about us and Loudon. and we've tried with Loudon, and we
they don't show us very much love. Loudon does not show us very much love.
I know, and we still try because this is the proof. We're about to do some more here.
Yeah.
First of all, Andre Jones, right? Talk about the Bo Jackson of working events, right?
Yeah.
He worked the Loudon event. He kind of ran the Loudon event, right? And then he also, I think, he helped out with at Fairfax Robinson.
Yeah.
So a good guy there helping out. He's on the Oakton staff. We obviously weren't there, but we talked to some people. So apparently Stonebridge 2027 receiver Justin O.
Yeah.
Justin O was one of the big stars at the Loudon Showcase. They say he killed it.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Yeah.
So, good for him. And anyone else, who obviously had big days. Again, we weren't there. So, we can't really talk about anything that we weren't there for, but just reading up some of the.
We did talk to our guys over at Dark Visors, and they were pretty complimentary of it, because I believe they
said it was well run.
Well run, yeah.
A lot of college coaches there.
Mm-hmm.
So they said,
actually, before we actually get into that, the fact that all three major areas in Northern Virginia kind of had that combine on the same day. I don't know if that was planned. I think Coach Vossler is going to join us and see if that was coordinated. But to have it all in that same week, I think was really smart.
Another one,
if it was planned.
Nate Harris from Briarwoods. There's just a couple guys that kind of tore it up at the at the PW, or sorry, the Loudon Showcase.
Yeah.
So kudos to anyone who went to that, and did well in front of a lot of coaches and scouts.
Yeah.
But you just teased it. We do have Coach Vossler coming on in a little bit,
Yeah.
and he's going to be talking all about the Fairfax event, and we'll get to that in a second. But at PW, so then the next it was Loudon, and then it was PW, and you did go to that, and I was watching on the stream, and we kind of did our first test run.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think? You were there in person. What'd you think?
I mean, this is the second one I've been to, and I think Coach Edmond does a great job over there, getting them going. Saw a lot of really good talent over there. I like that, they split it up and kind of, because they only ran on one field, you couldn't have Powell's whole thing, so they kind of went lineman first and then skills second. A lot of talent in Prince William. I think we're quite aware of that. Unfortunately, they didn't have a way for me to to tell who was who, and there were some kids who were wearing their school stuff, but it's kind of tough to see when you get older, right? But I'll tell you, I think there was a kid, and I think he was from I'm going to say Brentwood. That's how I'm thinking of it. Not Briarwoods. It was Brownsville.
Kettle Run, maybe.
Kettle Run, maybe. There was a two out there, and man, I was pretty impressed. And Colgan had some lightning bolt, who was just fast. I mean, he was blown by everybody.
From you said from Colgan?
Yeah.
If I said the name, I think I got the name here.
I wouldn't know the name because they were announcing the names, right? I just saw the had Colgan thing on, and all you could see was the back of his jersey because
it was. I'll tell you who it was. It was Cohen Crittenden.
Oh, okay.
That's who it was.
Okay.
You and Carl were both there.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys both being complimentary about the same guys.
Again, really well run. It was a really good event. They were worried that they were going to get the lightning and thunder again, but they did not. It cleared up right away, so it got kind of cool there. But yeah, I thought it was really, and actually we had and over there we had quite a few offers, right? We had a few kids actually get offers at the event.
You did. That's true. Couple of guys that Carl couldn't join us today. He's doing it. There's like a girls flag combine. And, Carl is always ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And so he's scouting out he's getting ready for the future, Mesa. Girls flag, it's the future. And Carl's getting ready for it. So he's scouting at the girl combine. But a couple of names that he was really, and you mentioned one of them, Cohen Crittenden out of Colgan, big fan. Another one from Garfield, OLDL, Francis Ampasa. He said he just absolutely murdered it. He was outstanding. 6 foot, 270. Yeah, big boy. Colin Swift, Forest Park, receiver. 6 foot, 170. He said he just was just on a tear out there. Forest Park. I mean, they're bombs away now, Mesa. Their quarterback, Nathan Song. I remember Carl talking about him at the live there. He said he looked good. He's a class of 27 guy. Aiden Sloan. I think he's one of the ones that got walked away with an offer, by the way, from Osborne Park.
Not Sloan Peterson from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Sloan Peterson. Aiden Sloan. Aiden Sloan Peterson. 6'1", 175 linebacker, just an athlete. Carl said he tore it up. Oscar Flores, Edge. I don't have the school here, but he was very complimentary of Oscar Flores. One guy that you and I both know really well, Warren Freeman.
Oh, good old Quack.
Quack Freeman, 5'8", and just what was that? What was that? Muscle? Remember the muscle hamster?
Oh yeah, Doug Martin,
the muscle hamster. 5'8", 177 pounds, and just speed and quickness, lightning bolt from Garfield. He said he had a great combine. So that's just a few of the guys that Carl really, and he talked about more in his article, but he raved about those guys.
Yeah. Again, great event. Tough to don't know who was who out there. But it was a good chance, and I think we talked about it on the 7-on-7 where the thought that Woodbridge High School lost quite a few players, and maybe they're on their way back down. I'll tell you, they had some kids at Woodbridge that if they're on their way down, I'd like to be on that way down because I'll take the kids I saw over there any day of the week.
Right. Yeah. Hey, and while we're here talking, please subscribe If you're listening, subscribe. On YouTube, please do. It helps us out tremendously. We have a lot of followers on social media and all that. We wish it would correlate with the YouTube followers.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I know we're in the middle of talking about stuff, but we are going to try to transition the Friday show to YouTube. We are going to try to transition that Friday show to YouTube exclusively. So
follow,
watch and subscribe on YouTube.
Right.
Get us to that 1,000, right? Get us to that 1,000.
Yeah,
it doesn't really mean very much to you guys, and probably won't mean very much to us financially, but
legitimately, right? Because you got a lot of people. I'm not going to say any names. You don't have to say names, but there are people out there that are blatantly, local people, blatantly have paid for YouTube followers. You could tell. You don't wake up one morning and have 80, and then the next day have 8,000, as we know. And we know that our listeners are loyal, and because our numbers reflect, our daily listeners reflect our followers. The numbers match.
Yeah.
But regardless, we're trying to do things the right way. So please, subscribe, all that good stuff. Now,
all 700 of you, if you just get one other person to follow, we'll be at 1,400. Just get one. All 700 of you, just find one person. Like, can you follow up to them? And we'll be over there in a heartbeat.
So going to PW, you were impressed. Coach Edmonds is a good guy. He does a good job.
Yeah. No, and he had a spot for us to set up, but I kind of walked around for a little bit, but it
cleared up. It got nice.
It got cleared up. It got nice. So no, it was great.
All right, and that brings us to the event on Friday night, man.
Yeah. What an event, huh? So well run. I mean,
outstanding.
Yeah.
And like we said earlier, we do have Coach Vossler joining us here in a few minutes. To talk all about it.
What made it really nice was the fact they issued them all shirts that had numbers on it, so we could be like, "Oh, who's this kid?" and then look him up, and we know exactly who that kid is right away. I
mean, it really was the combine.
Yeah.
And he said it, and he'll probably talk about it here in a few minutes. They try to emulate that, and I think they did a great job doing it.
Yeah. We have a lot of stats. We've broken it down. We've got the top 10 and by class for all the tested events. Plus, we have composite scores. We're like rivals.
I like the composite scores.
We have the composite scores with an overall grade.
What do they call that in the combine? They have that weird where it's like the RPA or there's a name, there's an acronym, and it's like
but I think that judges athletic ability, right? Isn't that what that does?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It kind of puts it all together and it spits out a number.
Yeah. But we have our own. We have our own secret sauce as a friend of ours likes to say often.
What an advantage! And if you're a coach there yesterday, just watching, looking at the list, because all the coaches have access to that list, and if you don't, reach out to Coach Voss. But you have access to that list. You can start scouting right now for the season, Mason.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we did, right? And there are some names that we're like, "Ooh, who's that kid?" I
know we were talking to Coach Van Acker, and I know he was scouting because he looked over. Emmett Murphy did something, looked good on a route, and he was like, "Emmett Murphy from Woodson, huh?" He said, "Putting that one in the old noggin right now. I'll make sure to deal with that when the time comes."
Yeah. So do you want to start talking about? We can start go by position group.
Yeah, for sure. First things first, though.
Coach Vossler is coming on. There he is.
Hey, there he is.
With the professional background. What is that?
That's right. I've got to keep up with you guys.
Talking about, I have a
Mason's a collector. Look at those helmets, Mason. That they're growing by the day. By the way.
Yeah. Well, that's all I want to have. That's all I want to have.
Now, we were just talking, Voss, about just how great an event it was. And Mason was talking about the numbers, just the numbers on the jerseys, and just how helpful that was for everybody.
Yeah, when we sat down and decided to do this, we didn't have an extremely long runway to get it done. And one of the things we thought was paramount, that being able to identify who's out there was going to be crucial. And we kind of figured with 25 high schools that we were going to have a large number of kids. So Coach Taylor over at Fairfax kind of got on the shirts was his responsibility, and he was looking up combine stuff from the NFL, like what they did. And we kind of used that as like a base model and got a great sponsor and Sports Plus to help us with the shirts. And it was able to all come together. Like we picked those shirts up. We had to have 25 made the day of because we didn't have enough because we had so many kids. And they got delivered at about 3:45. And we sorted them by size and rolled from there.
So I had a question. So the thought process, because we talked to a few other people, and like it seems like a lot of the ones this week limited to just rising seniors. What was the thought process behind letting it all grade levels? I mean, I'd imagine there was a conversation being had just because we talked about like, man, some of those, the receiver line in particular is going to be pretty long when you bring that many kids. So kind of talk me through the thought process of inviting all grades as opposed to just kind of rising seniors.
Yeah, it was a little like we didn't know what we didn't know. I think the biggest, there were two like extreme worries I think from the group was number one, not getting enough kids because it's brand new and the word didn't get out and like other things were going on, not getting enough kids out there. So there were only 30 or 40 kids and it was a complete flop. And then the other failure was going over 300 and like not being able to actually really do the event because the volume just got too big. So we had a registration process and we were monitoring it. The first few weeks we were checking every couple days, but really the last 7 to 10 days, we were looking at it every single day. And we had a number in our head of 250 was kind of the breaking point. And initially for a long time, we were under 100 and we were like, we got to get the word out, like, cause we don't want this thing to be a flop. But I would say about 2 weeks out, the registration started picking up. And then really about 10 days out, we were getting like 40 or 50 a day.
Wow.
And so we came back to school after the weekend, and our original plan was we were going to shut it down on May 12th, but we came back and we were at like 200 going into the weekend, like 210. And we came back and we had 50 more. Oh. And I immediately called the athletics people over at Gatehouse and was like, we got to close it because like we keep it open another day. We're going to go over 300. And, that we just didn't feel like we could manage that. And so that was the process. I think going forward, like there'll be a discussion with all the coaches in the area about, how we want to broker registration and make sure that maybe the upperclassmen have a priority to get in there.
Yeah.
But I do think like when you have a good product and it's something that's fun, and I do think a lot of kids really enjoyed it. Like I think our interest is going to be up
1,000%.
Oh yeah.
And we'll have to make sure that we have it available to the people that need it the most in the future. But we want to include as many people as we can. And we had 249 kids go through check-in. So we had about 260 sign up and register. And then obviously you always have a few no-shows, but we processed 249 kids through the check-in thing last night. So that number, it was a lot, but I do think from everything I've heard and talking to people that we managed it and kids got reps and we were able to get through all the testing and the time that we had allotted. So maybe we accidentally stumbled upon the sweet spot number that we can handle.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought the reps, because that was the big concern. Mason, kind of made a joke about the receivers, but that's what we talked about all week at work. And I was like, I can't. And luckily for us, Mason ended up being right in front of us. That group was right in front of us. So it was great placement by you guys giving us that spot. And they were gassed. They were getting the workout in. You had enough lines going. Yep. And that's the key, was all the hands on deck.
100%. We had great support from the Coaches Association in Fairfax County. Most schools had at least one person there, if not more. The other thing too, Robinson's facility, like that upper turf field is huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's not just the stadium turf, like it's a much bigger turf field, so you can really spread out and do a lot of stuff up there. So we wanted a central location somewhat in the county. We thought that was important.
Yep.
And Robinson stepped up to be able to do it. And their facilities there with the two turf fields, it allowed us to handle the volume that we needed to.
And maybe the best cell tower in all of Fairbanks County.
Yeah.
Right there in the middle of the stadium.
So we were logging all the data live.
Yeah.
And using wireless connections, but like, you guys deal with this. You test it out when nobody's there and it's fine. And people roll in and you just don't know what you're going to get into.
Yeah.
So I was toting around 5 MiFis in my pockets just in case we had issues. But we had no issues. Everything worked as planned, and we were able to log all that stuff. And I think it was pretty cool for the people that were there that had access to it. Were able to see the stuff live populate as we went through. And then,
matter of fact, we had coaches coming up to us and be like, "Hey, can you tell me what that kid ran?" And came up with this kid ran. Like they came up to us and I'm like, "Yeah." I thumbed through there and I'll tell them in real time. That kid's a 4.6 kid. That kid's a 4.9 kid, right? That kid. So they would know immediately.
Yeah,
correct.
having that
So
information
I thought that was
huge.
It was pretty cool for us to be able to pull off. Took a little. My dean of students year that I did over at South County with all the data that I had to run really helped us figure out how we could do some stuff on Google Sheets. But we had a couple meetings about this, but we trained up the guys that entered all the data at 4:30 last night, and they right before the kids started coming, it's like, "Hey, this is what we need you to do." And there was coaches in the area, and they did it, and it worked out great.
And it is risky. And you guys were you using the county Wi-Fi? Is that all you were using down there?
Yeah, county Wi-Fi. And we had the backup plan was do it in Excel if it fails. And then once we get somewhere with internet, we can just copy it over.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been live.
Right.
It would have been delayed by an hour or two. But that was we had the MiFis. People have hotspots on their phone. Like that I tested that out too with my computer to see if my hotspot would run, and it worked. Yeah. So we had some backup plans. And I'll tell you, I didn't sleep great the last couple days going into this, because when you do something for the first time, you just don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And I was trying to think of all the things that could go wrong and to try to have a plan for those. And we didn't really have to go off of plan A the whole night. So I was worried about how long stuff was going to take. But we went right on schedule, right through what we wanted to do. Even the check-in procedure, we were processing 20 kids a minute. Through, the check-in T-shirts, height and weight.
Yeah.
So in 20 minutes, we had almost everybody in the whole camp processed through there pretty quick.
I'll tell you what, going forward, knowing the success that it was, and I'm seeing today on social media, it's going to be, remember the old days, remember Ticketmaster, and you wanted to get it, you had to go early. There was a long line. Yeah. Look, when you guys announced your opening registration, it's going to be a lot of people trying to jump in. So talk about that a little bit. I know you and I were talking earlier about some ideas for next year. Yeah,
and this is just me thinking out loud, so that doesn't have the back.
But it makes sense because you are going to have a rush with people trying to sign up.
Yeah, we would likely maybe see a greater amount of people next year, because if you looked at the breakdown, there were 4 or 5 schools that had about 20 kids or more each, but there were a lot of schools in the 6 or 7, and then there were a few schools, in the 3 or 4 or less. I would venture to say if word got out, you probably could get 20 kids that would want to do it from every school.
Yeah.
And, with 25 high schools, we also invited the Arlington and Alexandria City. You're looking at 30 high schools at 20. That's a lot. That's more than we can handle. So potentially next year, when we open registration, maybe you open it up to rising seniors for the first 2 weeks.
That's what I was going to suggest, right? You rising seniors, you have 2 weeks. If you don't do it there, then you may lose your spot to a rising junior.
And then the rising juniors and seniors get maybe 2 more weeks, and then after a month, maybe we go to the rising 10th grade kids to fill out the space. And then if you don't get it done, then that's on you. That's on you.
Yeah. That's on you.
But I do think like we want to make it available to as many kids as possible. I think one of the coolest things, I don't know if you were probably up top.
Yeah.
We had all the kids get a picture in the end zone right after warmups, just real quick. We had them all run down the end zone, and we were stretched from bottom of the numbers to bottom of the numbers, about 4 or 5 deep, all Fairfax County kids right there. We got a quick picture with some of them kneeling down. I think Coach Doc over at Lake Braddock put it on their social media if you guys want to see it. But
check it out. Yeah,
it was just a really cool moment. You know, you had all those kids in there dressed out in their camp shirts and like ready to go do it. You know, we're so close together in our county location wise, but many times like we're, you know, this region, this district, like we don't always get to see each other and
right.
Do all that. So it was a really, I thought, cool moment for northern region and Virginia football to have all those kids on the field at the same time.
Now, I think the one complaint you may get is some of those linemen were not ready to run up the hill up to the. Some of them faded out about halfway up and kind of walked the rest of the way there. They all tried to jog, and some of those guys were not. They were not in season shape yet. Let's just say.
You know, when I was at Robinson I was there for 12 years. A running joke amongst all of us in athletics was anytime you were looking for somebody, it was like they're up on upper turf. So it's a hike up there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it now. There's the picture. That's pretty cool. All the way across.
Really cool. And it, you know, we were talking like picture day is like the worst day of the year as a football coach, and like it takes 4 hours to get there. That picture came together in about 40 seconds somehow. The kids all got over there. I yelled that if you're in the front, take a knee. And those kids took a knee and they kind of squeezed in, and we got a couple good pics snapped real quick.
Look at that. Picture takes forever, right? And then you get 300 kids in 5 seconds.
Yeah, motivation is a big part of life.
That's great. Yeah, what a success, man. And like I said, it's going to grow from here, I think. Like the word is out. And you probably know better than us. I've been trying to kind of catch up on social media. I saw a couple offers. Anything that you heard about or saw?
Yeah, I heard from a couple. We had 7-on-7 the next morning, and I heard from a couple of coaches that some people got offers. I don't want to be the one that breaks who they were.
Yeah. I saw Emory and Henry made a couple of offers. I think I saw Citadel. Citadel made a couple of offers.
Yeah, I saw some. It's funny, like I'm there working, and I was, you know, I calmed down as the night went and things were getting better and better, but I saw a couple kids run and, you know, they got their numbers on, and I pulled my phone out and I'm like, I hope we don't have to play against this team. Looking to see what school they're in.
I was just saying that because we were with Van Acker at one point, and he saw this one kid that they're playing, you know, it was Emmett Murphy, and he's like, all right, I got to remember that name. All right. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. So, it was pretty cool. No, I do think the college coaches, the ones that I spoke to, like really enjoyed it, thought they got a lot out of it. I think ideally in the future, we don't host it on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Just because I think a lot of times for those guys, that's the first time they can go home all week.
Mm-hmm.
They've been out recruiting. So if we could do it during the week, that would be better, but it is tricky. There's a lot of postseason spring sports who try our best to get off those dates, but I don't know if you can completely. I mean, there's some sport playing every day.
Right. You look at that's probably why Loudon ended up at that park.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I bet you there was the day they chose. I bet you there was games at every field.
Yeah. So it's a tricky balance, but I think, you know, and then you hope for good weather. Like we lucked out on weather.
Wow.
It couldn't have been any nicer.
It was the nicest day all week. It was the nicest day all week.
Yeah. So, you know, I think we'll set the date earlier and try to get out there and find some corporate sponsors to help us. And Um, we argued and debated about the fee for a long time of whether we should have one at all or what it should be. And one of the things that we kind of stuck on was $25 is affordable for most people. It'll help offset the cost of the shirts, and there's insurance costs, and we pay an athletic trainer, and but more importantly, it kind of like locked people in. If something's free, they may or may not will show up on the day. Well, my dog is not happy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think getting the corporate sponsors is not going to be hard at all. I think. Heck,
No.
I know one place that was excited to hand out wings and pizzas last night.
Yeah,
he gave us the pizza and wings, and we had, I saw Cross enjoying them.
Yes.
Coach Terrell, one of your guys, came over and enjoyed some wings.
Yes. No, it was. I think we'll be able to get some people that are excited about it, and no, the first year we didn't know what we didn't know, and so we asked for the support of Fairfax County to help us get this thing off the ground, and we got tremendous support from Tom Horn and his office over there, and superintendent came out last night, and it was great to kind of have their backing to make sure that we didn't, we could have run this thing and not run it well, and it'd been a disaster, and the Coaches Association could have been out $5,000 or something to start the year off. So it was nice to kind of have a year where we could work out the kinks. But I think we were able to put on a pretty good it was initial showcase.
Yeah. Well, I think and for us, I mean, we learned something new about what we could do with our technology, and now we're looking forward to coming out for the team camp.
Yeah.
June for you guys to watch you guys, and also Mason and I are looking forward to coming out in August. I'm thinking we can come out and catch a few different teams, start of training camp.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I caught a couple of things last night on Twitter from you guys, and I saw you interviewing some of the players and coach. And really cool.
Yeah.
You guys have been around now for a couple of years, like those kids that are now emerging on the scene in high school football, like they watched when they were 8th graders and freshmen, right. And like they know about all this stuff that you guys are doing. So it's cool experience for them. I know my players, I got to talk to a few of them as they were leaving. Like they had a great time, like the whole thing. They thought it was a great experience, and of all levels, right? We have some kids that are probably very recruitable, and some kids that were doing it just to get the experience, and every one of them felt like they got something out of it.
Well, I think it's a great way to kick off summer football, right? It's kind of the opening of summer football, right? Now, I mean, you guys have been doing 7-on-7 and competing a little bit, but kind of doing something on this one. I know you might have to go pretty soon. I have a question because you got a freshman quarterback who tested out pretty well. Jackson Waters.
Yeah,
he looks like Ace has been all over these numbers, and it's we have it. Leave here, Voss. We're going to about to go over all this.
We have them broken down all by classes, and we have ranked them in the top 10, like where they're at. Looks like I mean, obviously he's only a rising sophomore, and you guys established program, and to break into your lineup as a sophomore would be tough. But I was just looking at it, and I was like, ooh, looks like they got a guy who might be able to do something for him.
Yeah, he's a big, strong kid. His brother played corner for us the year before, or last season was starting defensive back for us. So he's a talented kid. We got a couple of them, we think, in that quarterback area, and we're excited for that position battle. But it's and again, I think it's good for these kids because a lot of them are going to go to college camps here over the next month, and like. They're going to be asked to do a lot of the exact same things that they were asked to do in this camp, and now they've got experience.
Yeah,
and I think is a really good way to help prepare all the kids in Fairfax County that have goals and aspirations of playing at the next level. They got to kind of trial run here to do it, and there were college coaches there, but this one was kind of on their home turf a little bit, right, with a low cost and low commitment level from the parents of how they didn't have to drive maybe a half hour to get there. Now they may be going to a camp that costs $100. That's 4 hours away, and there's going to be one set of coaches there from a school maybe that they really like, and they've got experience doing it already. So I think this was really good for our kids. I think it was really good for our coaching community to work together to help do this. I know I saw some of the Madison guys when they were walking off the field, and they were talking about a couple of our players and how they, thought they were really good. And I said, well, they better not be wearing any red stuff here in the next couple of days.
The other thing I thought was really good was the laser time 40, because that's a real 40. That's not a hand time 40. That's not, I mean, you've been coaching long. I've been coaching a long time. How many guys like, I'm a 4-4 guy? No, you're not. You're 1,000% now. And it's not anybody. And it also, when you're hand timing, depending on who's hand timing you, even if you're in the same camp, one guy's trigger maybe so another guy's trigger, so you don't know.
You don't want me hand timing you.
100. Well, you also, there's a lot more air in that too, as far as like malfunction air and stuff like that. So yeah, the laser stuff, the pure motion guys were great. I mean, there were, I don't know how much you guys probably really didn't get to see a whole lot, but there were, we had 4 40s being run at the same time, 4 pro shuttles being run at the same time, multiple broad jumps. And the kids would kind of rotate from station to station in their position groups. But we were able to there were 140 or 138 skill kids in the skill kid group.
Oh, wow.
And they got through all 4 of those, doing 2 of them each in an hour.
Oh, wow.
And so, those pure motion crew was rolling them through, and we had coaches at the table collecting the data. So it went extremely smooth, and we emailed out graphics for those kids with their times on them and all that stuff last night. So, no, it was good stuff. It was exciting, and I'm glad it went well, and we look forward to kind of refining it in the future. But it was a good day for Fairfax County football.
It was, man. Congrats on a big success, and it was fun. We're going to see you just in a couple of weeks here, buddy.
Yeah, hopefully we get some. Usually this camp, it's earlier in the we dodged some of the thunderstorm stuff in the summer, and we got a real good slate of teams coming there. It's Oakton, Coach Aziz is bringing his crew, and Centerville, us, Madison, South Lakes, and Lake Braddock. So it's a good group of teams. I like doing adding the 5th and 6th team, because it helps keep everybody's hostilities down as the week goes on. You aren't going against the same people day after day after day. So, you'll see Lake Braddock once or twice. You'll see Centerville once or twice, but you're not seeing them 4 times. And so it was really cool last year. We're excited. We always think for us, it really kind of gives us our first glance at maybe what our depth chart is going to start to look like. Because you start to see, like, this kid's got a shot to be a varsity player. This kid's probably still a JV guy, and we can start to sort out, and then we can start slotting people into positions. That way when we show up for fall camp, we're not wasting a week trying to figure out who's going to go where.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and shout out, by the way, you brought up Oakton a second ago. Shout out Jack Martin, Citadel offer.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I heard he looked real good at and I'm not surprised. He looked real good last season. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player, and I'm sure that's another guy that some of the Westfield staff was writing some notes on. Not that you need notes on him, you already know he's
we've seen him for a couple of years now.
Right.
Yeah, he's a problem. He's a problem.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it. We're about to break it down, talk about all these numbers, all these guys. We appreciate you coming on. You guys did a great job. And again, looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks.
Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys and the Dark Visors got we had a bunch of Carl was there.
RPO.
Yeah, RPO. It was cool to kind of see everybody out there, and
it was.
And it was fun. It was probably, there's a lot of times in coaching some of it's not fun, like losing's not fun. Dealing with some of the accountability and discipline that you got to do is not fun. Last night, I think, was complete fun. It was cool to be a part of.
It was a good atmosphere. We got to talk to Fernando Belli.
Yeah.
I called him he's kind of the vice president. He's kind of the next in line to Roger Goodell.
Well, those guys did great. Like anytime we had an issue or something we needed clarification on over the last 2 months, like they were a phone call away with a quick answer and helped us. So, you can't do big things like that without having a direct line to people that make the decisions in the county. And they were a tremendous asset for us.
And we met Coach Culver for the first time, Mason. We hadn't met him yet.
Good guy. Yeah, Coach Culver's a real good guy. He's been he's been at Centerville for a long time. Right. I've gotten to know him over the years. He's real happy for him.
So good stuff, man. Well, buddy, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you in a couple weeks at Westfield for the team camp.
Amen. All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, see you, buddy. Good stuff.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start? Do you just want to start by classes? Do you want to start?
Yeah. But I got to tell you, and then we saw with Andre Jones and Loudon. Yeah. Our guy, Coach Edmonds at the PW, and then now Voss with the Fairfax thing. You gotta have someone sharp, right, and with it to be the kind of one running the kind of
especially a camp that size, right?
Right. So kudos to all those guys, and thanks to Coach Voss for coming on here and talking about it a little bit. All right, let's break this down, buddy. Let's break this down because guys were performing, buddy. So much so, like we said, guys, they're getting offers left and right. Let's talk about, some of the heavy hitters. Where do you want to start? You are the man behind the numbers. Where do you want to start?
We could just go overall. You want to talk about classes?
Let's go overall.
Let's go overall. All right. So I need to pull up that other sheet. Give me a second here. I feel like we're doing the Sunday show where I'm like, oh, you want to talk about that one?
No, man. Would that be the FCPS combine breakdown?
This one here.
Actually, let's go positions, Mason.
All right, so just by position. All right, so
I like that one.
A guy who we were really impressed with that I don't think we knew a lot about was Dante Bain. Bain.
Yeah. So are we going to receivers first then?
No, he because he listed himself at multiple different spots. He listed as a quarterback, receiver.
Where are you looking at that? Because Bain, class of 28. Gotcha, I got you. Class of 28.
Yeah.
You got him everywhere because he's Bain. He needs to come out, Mason. He needs to come out in that mask next year, the Bain mask.
Yeah, he actually has one of the highest. So we did a full composite score, and maybe we'll tweet this out. We'll tweet out our kind of composite scores and break everything down so that I don't know. I mean, is that a privacy thing?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. But Dante Bain, outstanding.
Yeah.
Mason, he got a 91 on our
91. But let's kind of talk about his numbers, right? So he all right, we're going down right here. In the 4.53, laser time the 40.
Dude,
that is a lightning bolt.
I'll tell you what. And what he's a 28.
He's a 28.
Dude,
he's only a rising junior.
I feel like last night, Friday night, a lot of secret weapons were kind of revealed for the first time for some teams.
Yeah.
And Chantilly and Coach Frank, that was the first time a secret weapon was kind of unveiled.
Yeah. He was the fastest quarterback, but he listed himself as a quarterback, running back, wide receiver. We don't know what Coach Frank's going to do with him. I'd imagine they're going to do a lot with him.
Whatever he wants.
Right there. Another guy who at a 4.7, and you're a fan of Christian Wyatt.
Oh, yeah. South Lakes. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed it last year, Mason.
Yeah.
It reminded me of a young Richie Gannon I told you last year.
You did. Centerville trying to play quarterback. Dylan Ball, another one, 4.75. Jack Martin, 4.76. And again, you've been saying Jack Martin is sneaky elusive. With this past speed on him.
Jack Martin's got.
And actually, he had the best pro agility time at all of them by a full 1/10 of a second.
Wow.
In the quarterback group right there, at a 4.31.
And you know what? And a good size, man. At almost 6 foot and a half.
182 pounds.
That's Drew Brees size, Mason.
Yeah,
that's solid.
Yeah. Evan Fitzgerald, Another one good in the pro agility drill as well.
Yeah. He's a younger guy.
Little younger guy. Dylan Miller also did pretty well at a 4.84. And again, these are laser time 40s, so these are not like trust me, bro times. These are legit.
You talk about Dylan Miller. Now you're talking about a South County guy that was one of the top quarterbacks already last year in the area.
Yeah. Best broad jump, Kyle Lewis. Kyle Lewis with the best broad jump out of the quarterback group.
Kyle Lewis, the Eli Manning of Nova, right? I mean, you know, he's 6'4", Mesa.
Yeah.
He's a big kid.
He's for sure. He's a big kid. See anyone else? Falls Church had their quarterback at a 4.95.
Wow. And that's going to help them because they're replacing a quarterback who also could run a lot.
Yeah. Moises Dorado out of Robinson had a pretty good 40 time at 4.86. He was in the quarterback group. He was 7. He was 7. And as we go through the list, Robinson had a lot of guys who tested really well, but I think that might be part of Coach Pannoni and his offseason training program, right?
I think Coach Pannoni and Coach Gingrich and company they're kind of salivating over this.
Yeah. Dante Bain, of course, best vertical of the court, but he's got because he got listed in multiple spots as we broke it down.
Right.
Christian White, a guy we know now. There was a quarterback listed, Issa Owens. He's a 28. He's a 28. So he might. I don't know if there's gonna be a quarterback battle between him and Lewis over there because he tests out pretty well as well. But again,
couple of guys I got to ask you about. So I'm going to ask you about one, Nathan Tarr from Braddock. He's the other quarterback because they had 2.
Yeah.
And we saw him play last year, and at times, Mason, we couldn't. I mean, he looked. It was like a clone of Ty Jackson.
Yeah. No, he looked very very similar. He was in the top 10 in vertical at his position group. He was in the top 10 in broad jump. Let's see, in his position group.
Big kid. I mean, 6'1".
But that shows up like powerful legs, right? Like he's able to jump pretty far as well.
The other one I wanted to ask you about was who was it? It's always hard replacing someone who's just been amazing, at their time there at Langley. So you got William Ayub replacing Cole Sandberg.
Yeah, and he is a class of 28.
28.
So they'll have him from the and I we heard good things about him, right? We heard that they liked him a lot over there too.
And then Atkinson from Madison.
Yeah.
So Madison, I mean, he's probably a baseball kid, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Usually, I'm not saying he is. I don't know, but a lot of times at Madison, I feel the quarterbacks there have been baseball kids forever.
Yeah. I know you want to go down the running backs.
Yeah, slide down the running backs. See what we got here.
All right. So again, Dante Bain is going to be at the top of the list because he listed himself on all spots. So when we had it broken down, he's going to let.
I like that. It's almost like Dante Bain knew we were going to be doing this, and his name got mentioned 1,000 times.
The second fastest in the running back group was. Why ask why?
Why ask why? Ask Sam Rye.
Sam Rye at a 4.66.
Look at that, and yet that's the deceptive speed, right? Like
5'11", 203, man. That at high school, that is a low.
I know. I'm about to say that the runaway beer truck.
In fact, he is the heaviest in making the times. He is the heaviest out of all of them. The next closest guy to him is at 170. He's 30 pounds. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 180. Dylan Wickham. Dylan Wickham is 6 foot. 180, but he's still 20 pounds heavier.
Why? You said it. Why ask why? Ask Samurai. That's he is this year's runaway beer truck.
Yeah.
Oh, unbelievable. Look at that. And then Dylan Wickham, and he came and talked to us for a little while and maybe player of the year last year.
Yeah. Now 2 young guys who ended up making the 40 time the running back spots out of 2 guys out of Robinson. Jay Carter. Jay Carter is a 28 and Rydam Neff is a 29. They were 4.7 and 4.1 respectively.
And then you had another one. You had Johan McCoo from Robinson
at running back.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's at the class of 27.
Oh, you're looking at the classes right now. I'm looking at just straight up like the straight top 10 at that position right now.
Oh, okay. I'm just naming. But the fact that they have Robinson's, they could be back, Mason. A stable of running backs.
Two of them. Another interesting one out of Falls Church. Mackay Carruthers out of Falls Church, 4.78, a 29 grad. Those are rising
5'7",
5'7",
150 pounds, kind of a scat back, right?
Yeah. But he's at 29. You're telling me that kid's not going to grow over the next few years?
Plays corner.
Yeah. I mean, he's a rising sophomore.
Yeah.
He's a rising sophomore. Uh,
and they're going to use him. We know our guy over there knows how to use his running backs and quarterbacks.
Now another Sam Rye again showing up on the pro agility drill. That means he was the fastest pro agility, and not by a little bit, by almost 0.3 of a second faster than the next running back.
That's amazing.
That's impressive. So he was the fastest running back if you take away Bain, because we don't Bain's. My guess is Bain's probably going to end up being kind of a Swiss Army knife, is my guess, right? If you listen to him all spots, right? Where Sam Rye is just going to be lying at the backfield, and not only was he the fastest running back in the laser time, he was the quickest one on being able to cut it back and forth. I mean that's going to be a problem.
I got something for you.
Yeah.
How about the 1-2 punch of and we saw this last year, by the way, the 1-2 punch of Wickham and Hazelwood at West Springfield.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.68, Mesa.
Yeah.
That'd be the fastest back in a lot of other schools.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like the Patriots going to have a whole bunch of guys vying for that first team all running back spot, huh?
Yeah. I mean, with all these backs and Patriot, I know they got great quarterbacks, but Patriot might look like Liberty, the running games.
We just got to the Voss, and I was going to ask this. Christian Jones, 29 grad, 4.73.
Wow.
4.73 is a 29 grad.
29. Oh man, that's wild.
Oh,
it gets you real excited. Knowing, I mean, these guys are going to be freaking. We got some players, man.
Now, I think this speaks to kind of his running style. Dylan Wickham had the best broad jump.
Yeah,
that's power, right? That's power. That's the ability to transfer power and be able to go
right.
to it. He is not an easy tackle, and he had the best vertical. He had the best broad, and he had the best vertical.
Now there was someone at Oakton that caught your eye.
Yeah, I think I have him on.
Was that Michael? Was that Marks?
Yes, Michael Marks. Another 29, 4.73.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Aziz and VA will find ways to use that guy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this could be. We said it before. Remember the year of the running back? Year of the tight end? Could this be the year of the running back?
Could be the year of running back. It could. I mean, we just talked about two guys at Robinson, two guys at West Springfield. We talked about Rye over at Lake Braddock. I mean, let's see. Go through anyone else here. No, and I mean, we don't have a ton of time.
Just impressive times.
Yeah.
All right, jumping to receivers. Everyone's favorite. You're not joke because everyone's a receiver.
Joshua Benjamin Dagby.
Wow, Dagby. That's a big name at South Lakes. The Dagby family, they've come through there, and it looks like they got another one.
4.52.
Wow.
4.52. I mean,
wow. And he's a 28, Mesa.
He's a 28.
28 running a 4.5 laser.
Yeah.
And you're ready to bring it back wide at quarterback. You're ready to bring it back Piscarelli.
Let me ask you.
They like South Lakes.
You brought it up. Piscarelli, quickest pro agility.
Do you know the games you could play at South Lakes with these weapons?
Yeah. A few national guys are on here. Robert Metal Nuno.
Yeah.
Was again, because Bain is one of the fast kids, 4.55. Now he's
right?
Yeah, but 5'10", 150. I mean,
wow, 5'10", running a 4.55. I mean, Mount Vernon. We know Mount Vernon's got dudes.
Now here's the thing also about National. Out of the top 10, the National has 1, 2, 3, 4. They have 4 of the top 10 40 times there. Mateo Alvarez at Annandale, 29. So he's just 29, 4.78.
Wow. Well, hang on. And we're just talking about South Lakes. I'm about to be very bullish on South Lakes. I know we're talking about receivers, but receivers and tight ends are on the same chart here.
Well,
they have a tight end, Mesa, who's 6'5", 220 pounds at South Lakes. We already talked about the other receivers. Ian Merzing, tight end, 6'5", who ran a 4.65.
Yeah. Well, and how about this? And they got speed all over the place. That quarterback can run. We just talked about his 40 time.
They got one of the best quarterbacks in the region.
Yeah. Now, while Piscarelli did not show up in the 40 time, we know that he can make things happen because he's so quick.
Yeah, he's quick. Like,
but just going back, Annandale has a kid 5'10", 29 29, 478.
yeah.
29.
You know who's smiling when he ran? I think he looked over and might have seen Coach Adams.
Coach Adams going to put him the little eye. He's thinking he's going to put him in the eye, right? He's probably going to.
He was doing the old Mr. Miyagi kind of like smile, like looking over there. He was proud.
Another Mount Vernon kid, man. Mount Vernon's got some guys who can fly on the outside. Shaw Royal Wright.
Wow.
28 grad, 477.
Man, and then Isaac Ty from Braddock.
Isaac Ty from Braddock.
Braddock always breeds quarterbacks and receivers. Yeah. We know that.
A team that we saw last year that kind of struggled with, but Kahari Nesbitt out of Edison.
Yeah.
28 grad, 5'9", 466.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, one guy not showing up on here, at least for my 40s. I'm on the 40 highlighted, but we know he had a great day yesterday. It was Emmett Murphy.
Yeah. No, he looked good. He looked good run those routes out there. Definitely was able to get open.
Strong hands, great route runner. That's not going to show up on here.
No.
That's the eyeball test.
Yeah. Another person at Chantilly, man, the Concord is tough. To go next to Dante Bain, Jaden Harris, 28, wow. Another 28 grad, 466.
We said last night. We said somewhere, and we talked to Coach Frank.
Yeah,
and he was excited. You could feel the enthusiasm come from him. But somewhere he wasn't there yesterday. But somewhere, Coach Artie, was he had his feet propped up, smoking a cigar, and he was cackling.
Yeah. A lot of young guys did really well. I mean, we're going through the list and we're like 28, 29, 20. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are 27 guys on. There's class of 27 guys, but quite a few. I mean, guys who are going to be around for a couple of years.
Yeah, that's impressive. Now O-line, as we get to O-line, obviously, you're not looking at 40 times.
But what you want to do is you want to look at pro agility, right? Because you want to see how fast they're able to go from 5 to 10 back to 5. I think that's probably what I mean. What you're gonna look at. That being said, Mount Vernon had an offensive tackle, defensive end, 6'2", 266, 475.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, Mesa. I'm looking at size. At size.
But 6'2", 266 measured correctly at a 475.
Well, how about Adam Chavez from Fairfax, 6 foot 280?
Oh yeah, that's a big boy.
6 foot 280.
Yeah.
Was he? He might have been the heaviest lineman. Actually, I'm scrolling through it. No, we got a. How do we forget? Big Anthony Michael from Woodson.
Yeah. So going there,
283.
So going to the pro agility, because I think that's what probably counts the best for the offensive lineman.
Sure.
He was ninth. He was ninth at 6'3", 263 at 403. Now,
283, Mesa, you don't walk with him, you walk among Anthony Michael.
Robinson had the quickest O lineman. Charles McDade. I've heard you mention McDade before.
Yeah, I think I know the McDades. Good family.
29 grad. 29, so he's only a freshman. 6'3".
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
200 starting to fell out a little bit.
Yeah.
And they also got a guy named Jackson Weeks at 270.
Yeah, and he's number 8, and at 28. I mean,
and also a 28 grad. Glory days are coming for Robo, buddy.
I mean, we talked about kind of the speed they have, the younger guys. Looks like they got some big guys up front. Oof. McDade had the best broad jump out of all of them by 4 inches.
Guess who they're going to be pulling a lot.
Now here's the other thing. Just looking at just kind of the explosive aspects of it. McDade had the best vertical by 3 inches.
Yeah,
I mean that's a bit, right, when you're starting to get up there. I mean that's pretty impressive. Although, how about this? Robinson had the top 3 vertical jumpers for offensive linemen.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. That's a a lot of the work that Coach Pannoni's been doing in the offseason with these guys. Yeah. Shout out to Madison Gavin Karandi. He ranked pretty high and 265, only a 28.
Yeah.
And then shout out to a good old Fedor from Braddock. Remember the Fedors?
Oh, yeah.
Fans of the show. 250. Look, 6'2" at center, 250. Not bad.
Yeah, it's gonna clear the way for you better get out of the way because Rye's coming pretty fast.
Yes, he is.
Better make a hole. If not, you're gonna wear a helmet in the back of your shoulder pads.
Yes, he is. All right, so we're gonna see a lot of the same names, maybe not all, but some
on the D line.
With the D line.
No, these are all different names.
You're right. I guess they when they tested, I guess they had to pick one or the other.
We should contact good old Coach Crush, Jared Pulliam, Lake Braddock, best 40 time, 4.67. 6'2", 215. Now that's a little lot. I mean, like it's not high school. That's a big enough kid, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say in high school it's fine.
Now what I noticed with this D lineman is a lot of 27. Like we went through a lot of early with the skill guys. They were younger. A lot of older guys here in this group right here. Boy, another South Lakes guy.
Wow.
Another South Lakes guy. Oh boy.
The speed at South Lakes. What are they feeding him in Reston?
Yeah. I'll give you another just because the national does not get us due. Do you see Lamshay Stewart? 6'2", 266, 475.
Wow.
That's Aaron Donald. That's Aaron Donald, right?
It is. And again, Mason, Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
Athletes.
Yeah.
Athletes.
I mean, they talk. I don't know who would turn down and a 28. He's not a 27. He's a 28.
Yeah, 28. Ooh. That's true. How about AC? Big Wesley Anderson. That's 6'6", Mason.
230, 488. But boy, there's some fat. I would argue that this defensive line edge group might be as fast as some of the other groups. I mean, just on average.
They're faster than a lot of the receivers.
There's not a 5 in there.
I know. Are some of these guys playing tight end? Some of them are. If you look at it, some of them are playing tight end.
Some of them do play tight end. There's a guy listing himself as defensive end and safety. That's interesting.
Well, how about West Springfield, 6'5", 190. So young guy's only at 28, so he can put on weight. Apollo Williams. First of all, I mean the king of Sting, the Count of Monte Fisto,
the Master of Disaster.
The Master of Disaster, Apollo Williams. Yeah. We already got one of our favorite nicknames for the upcoming season, Mace.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Look at the pro agility too. Some really good times in here. Again, going to AC, Wesley Anderson, 6'6", 230.
I know. I mean, he's enormous. I'm surprised he didn't get
Oakton got a pretty decent size, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Luca Cerruti, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm calling roll the first day at school.
Right.
I look at him like, okay, let's see if I can hold it together. Another Robinson kid. Leonard Beckford, 29. Boy, man, every time we say a Robinson kid, he's a 20 or 29.
I know.
Oh boy.
Look out, here they come.
6'2", 219, 459 in the pro agility.
Yeah. You know, keeps popping up is Westfield's Henry Hamilton.
Oh, West, yeah. 28 kid. Now he apparently they may have not entered his weight incorrectly. We don't have a weight for him.
Right, we don't have a weight, but he keeps popping up on all these.
Yeah.
All right, slide down to
Packers. South Lakes again, my friend.
Well, it's Valencia if you look.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Now Oakton makes their mark.
Oakton, two of them in a row.
You know why? Basically, those are two. You got Miller and Marks. That's the M&Ms right there.
Yeah, and we saw Marks was listed earlier because of the way the breakdown came down. He was also at the running back group.
Well, that strikes me as a couple like just nasty, nasty old school Vienna youth kids right there.
Now the heaviest of the group out of 40 times was Ari Hirsch. He's 6'2", 200 pounds, 478.
Yeah,
478 time. I mean that's 6'2". He's long. He's heavy, and he's heavier than all of them.
Yes, he is. It kind of reminds me of the Mad Stork.
The Mad Stork. I had to bring up a good old Raider, huh?
I had to bring up a Raider. How about Vasquez? Shout out to Vasquez. Got an offer.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Citadel.
Yeah.
Oakton guys is getting offers left and right.
Looking at the pro agility, man. How many Concord kids do you see popping up on these lists? Goodness. Oakton, South Lakes has got three of the best pro agility guys over there.
Yeah.
Ari Hirsch, though, make his way also in the top 10. I think Ari Hirsch is one.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Top 10 in every category there.
Ari Hirsch, look, if I'm at Woodson, he's not leaving the field.
Yeah.
You brought up a good point the other day. You said put him at tight end.
But
H-back.
Yeah, I mean, with that kind of speed, right? I mean, he's one of the faster kids out there. You got to find a way to maybe.
Measurables.
Yeah.
Braden Vasquez again. I mean, Citadel knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
Cody Blaylock from Braddock.
Yeah.
Kind of looking through here to get into it's a lot of the same names, popping up. And DBs, I kind of slide down to DBs here.
DBs.
You gotta see some of the receiver names pop up again.
There's Dagby again. There's Nuno again. New kid, Trevor Olmstead.
I remember Olmstead from last year. He was
last year. Yeah, he was. Let's see any other guys who are DB guys only we're talk about.
Jaden Harris from Chantilly. He plays both, but I don't remember saying him earlier.
Max Barker out of Oakton, another Oakton kid.
Catherine was asking about him yesterday.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then James Toothill out of another 6'1", 180. Free safety 4.73. I mean another one. To round out Annandale Falls Church. Al Hassan Malita 5'10", 177, 475, and Joseph. I'm not even gonna try.
You'd love to see Falls Church, getting that.
Yeah.
Because they graduated a lot of guys.
Yeah. Olmstead won probably the top 3 in all these categories too.
Right.
Yeah, pretty talented. A lot of 27s on this list.
Yep.
Let's see any other guys, because the other guys probably talked about when they're a receiver.
By the way, just to correct myself earlier, I mentioned Jack. I confused it too. I said Jack Martin at Citadel. Braden Vasquez, I did say Citadel, and he did get an offer. Jack Martin was Emory and Henry. Okay. Another South Lakes kid, Cameron Soto, in the pro agility was number 1 over there. Olmstead making an appearance again. Aiden Coleman, a Madison kid. Of course.
28.
Okay, so let me tell you something, Mason. And I'm going to say this right now. Because guess who we haven't said a lot of? What school?
Madison.
That's right. Because remember we talked about earlier, and I mentioned the eyeball test?
Yeah.
The Madison guys,
let me ask you this, though.
Go ahead.
A lot of their kids are two-sport athletes, right?
Some of them might have been playing baseball.
Yeah, but baseball, lacrosse, track.
But I think even then, they're just showing you, though, that, I mean, not all their guys are playing baseball.
Yeah.
Like they had some dudes here.
Yeah.
And yet, maybe they don't show as a fast. And Count said this. Maybe he's not the fastest kid or the highest jump or whatever, but they're football players.
They can play football. All those other things. And we were talking with the DC. Is that what we were talking with yesterday?
Yeah, great guy.
And what he said, right? I mean, my guys tackle.
Yep.
There's no measurable for tackling over here, right? They're not measuring how well you tackle. But I guess if they did, we'd be reading a lot of Madison kids on there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got the specialists, right? Got some kickers and punters, with the long snappers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same names because they're specialists for a reason.
Yeah.
So, buddy, just a good list, an accurate list.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love it, man. And to me, the biggest takeaway was a great event. Everyone was happy. A lot of networking, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But that we were able to just kind of go through all that information. That's the story of that event.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully the other combines. Like I said, I thought the Prince one was fine. I thought Prince one was really well run. But I think to be able to do this kind of stuff, right, to be able to actually put that out there and have, because I did. Those college coaches were like, "Hey, who's that kid? What do you run?" And I could tell them immediately what he ran. Right.
Impressive stuff. And by the way, I'll say it again. Any coaches out there that don't have access to that list, I talked to Voss, and Voss said they reach out to him. He'll get it to him. So, reach out to him if you don't have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Buddy, that was a good show.
It was.
Good show last night. Good show today. And now it gets real, man. I mean, next week we got Levels and Dark Visors event.
Yep.
And by the way, they got a lot. I mean, these events went so great. They got to keep it going. They got to keep the momentum going.
They do. Yeah.
They get good weather.
I agree.
To me, that sets weather sets the tone, right?
Yeah.
You gotta have good weather. It can be a good event. You can do everything right. If you have bad weather, it's just like, oh shit, this sucks.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get good weather. Knock on wood, we'll be there for them and support to our friends. And then I'll be out of town for an event that's being held where again?
Good old Garfield.
It's just coincidence. I love Garfield. I love
playing it that way.
I love Coach Edmonds.
I think as soon as you found it out, you're like, I got to get out. Buy some play tickets. Let's get the hell out of here.
Nicole, we're going to Key West during the Garfield event. But no, so I'll be in Key West. But you'll be holding the fort down with the incomparable one, Carl J. Frederick.
Yep.
And then we come back and we start the team camps pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, and then Oakton.
In Oakton, yeah.
Which is the granddaddy of them all, 7-on-7 events.
Yeah, it's one of the big ones for sure.
It is. And you know Aziz, he's going to take it next level.
Yeah.
And I told Aziz, you got a lot to live up to after seeing the way Robinson treated us. Aziz has a lot of work to do. Aziz, we need a tent. We need the whole nine. We need a nice table. And you know, they didn't just give us chairs. Do you notice the chairs they gave us?
Oh, they gave us the indoor ones.
They gave us the nice basketball chairs. I hope the guys at Woodson are paying attention to that. They gave us the nice chairs.
Yeah.
For an outdoor event.
Yep. In the turf.
On the turf.
Yeah.
So that's talking to you, Blevins, talking to our good friend Blevins, and make sure he gets us the good stuff. The good stuff here at Woodson. But no, seriously, that awesome stuff. It's gonna be fun. It'll be, like you said, this kick kind of kicks off the summer, Memorial Day right around the corner, and it kicks off the start of the real football preseason.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, you got a lot of things to do. I'm going out. I'm going to get a nice steak dinner tonight.
Yeah, enjoy it.
With a side of bone marrow. Just the femur comes out. Crack the femur open. Oh,
yeah. Well, enjoy your meal.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah. And we'll see everybody, man. It was fun. And we'll see you guys next week. Dash and Dan, all Hitches. See you next time.
See ya.